Kanye West reclaims the throne as Bully outpaces J. Cole in a streaming takeover over the weekend. Kanye West made one of the loudest returns the music industry has seen in years with the release of his 12th studio album, Bully. What initially felt like another unpredictable rollout quickly turned into a full-scale takeover, as the numbers began pouring in almost instantly. Within hours, it became clear that this wasn't just another release. It was a moment. From the second Bully hit streaming platforms, it started climbing charts at a speed that's hard to ignore. Apple Music rankings across multiple countries shifted almost overnight, placing Kanye back at the top in regions where competition has been tighter than ever in 2026. This surge didn't just put him ahead of new artists. It pushed him past Jay, Cole's The Fall Off, an album that had already set a strong benchmark earlier in the year. And that's where things get interesting. For years, Kanye West and Jay Cole have represented two very different approaches to hip-hop dominance. Cole has built his reputation on consistency, lyricism, and a loyal fanbase that grows with every release. Kanye, on the other hand, thrives on disruption, reinventing himself, challenging norms, and turning every album into an unpredictable cultural event. With Bully, that difference is more visible than ever. On Spotify, the album reportedly pulled in over 30 million streams within its first 24 hours. That number alone positions it as one of the biggest hip-hop debuts of the year, but the real story is in how those streams are distributed. Unlike many modern releases that rely heavily on playlisting, Bully appears to be driven by direct fan engagement, people actively searching, replaying, and sharing the album across platforms. Early projections suggest that Bully could land somewhere between 250,000 and 275,000 album equivalent units in its first week. What makes that figure even more impressive is the strong contribution from pure sales. In an era where streaming dominates the conversation, selling full albums at scale is becoming increasingly rare. Yet Kanye continues to prove that his audience isn't just listening, they're invested. The rollout strategy also played a huge role in building momentum. Just days before the official release, Kanye hosted a high-profile listening event in Los Angeles. Clips from the event flooded social media, sparking debates, reactions, and anticipation. By the time the album officially dropped, it already felt like a global moment rather than just a release date. The features on Bully add another layer to its impact. With appearances from Travis Scott, Don Toliver, Ty Dolla $ign, and CeeLo Green, the album blends different styles and generations of artists. This mix helps Kanye stay connected to both mainstream audiences and core hip-hop listeners, creating a sound that feels both current and rooted in his legacy. But beyond the music, Kanye's presence in the headlines has added emotional weight to this era. In recent statements, he opened up about his past controversies and mental health struggles, acknowledging the role that bipolar disorder has played in his public behavior. That level of transparency has sparked mixed reactions. Some see it as accountability, while others remain skeptical, but it undeniably adds depth to the narrative surrounding Bully. At the same time, Kanye's influence is expanding beyond streaming platforms. His announcement as the headliner for all 3 days of London's Wireless Festival signals a major return to international stages. It's been over a decade since he last held that kind of presence in the UK, and this move reinforces the idea that his reach is still global, not just digital. Meanwhile, the comparison with J. Cole continues to fuel conversation across the internet. Fans are debating not just numbers, but legacy, impact, and relevance. Is this a temporary spike driven by hype, or is it proof that Kanye still sits at the top of the culture? And where does that leave J. Cole, an artist who has quietly built one of the most respected catalogs in modern hip-hop? What Bully ultimately represents is more than just streaming success. It's a reminder of how powerful a moment can be when music, controversy, timing, and cultural relevance all collide.